What's up, everyone? Lobbyrex back again, and it's a Sunday as at the time of making this very video. So happy Sunday to you wherever you are watching this video, or whatever day time it might be when you'll be watching this video. So I like to drop at least one video every week just to keep everyone updated, and for those that are following, just to have a one-on-one talk with you guys. And this is not a scripted video, this is not a strategy video whereby I have videos where I drop some strategies that you can back test and use to trade, but this is something different, like the way I do in some of my previous videos, whereby I just have this reality talk with you guys. And I decided to title this video "Go Hard or Go Home," the brutal reality, the brutal truth about trading. Now, looking back at it, every one of us, if you are a trader watching this video, or you are an aspiring trader watching this video, the bottom line is we are all coming into this industry, or we came into this industry because we want to change our lives. That is the truth, except you want to just be lying to yourself. You can't tell me you came into trading because you had passion for trading. No, you came into trading because you want to make money. You want to change your life, you want to get that financial freedom that you always dreamed about. And you see, okay, trading can actually give me that, because if there are other people that are doing it, then I can. That is the foundation. Even you who is an aspiring trader watching this, that's what you're thinking. And it's not bad at all. It's a very, very good thing. So we don't come into this industry because we had the passion for it. The passion grows over time. That's where the topic comes in: go hard or go home. As I'm still going to go deep into it, but the passion comes in over time. So you opened a trading account, probably funded it with some little amount of money, and then you were just guessing. You don't even know what you're doing. You press the buy, and then the market bought, you made profit. You're like, oh wow, I just made this amount of money in few minutes. And that opens your brain into a different kind of reality. I'm like, man, so I can make such amount of money within minutes. So you keep adding more money, adding more money, adding more money, making money, often called as the beginner's luck. You make more money until you lose it all. Now that's where the reality of trading starts to kick in. You're like, oh my god, did I just lose this whole amount of money in trading in few minutes? That time you don't even know anything about stop loss, you don't know anything about take profit, you're just trading blindly, right? You're chasing price. That's the right word. You're chasing price. So you're just trading blindly, and then you get liquidated. So now you're like, okay, I think I need to further for the educational aspect of this thing. I need to get educated about this thing that I am doing, because it seems truly I do not understand what I'm doing. Now you start going through that journey of learning strategies, testing this one, putting in money, making money, losing money, and all. In most cases, most people, they still lose again, right? They lose again. Then they go back to demo, because everybody started on live, including me. I started on live. The very first time I started trading, I lost about $150 to FTM. If you guys know this pair of crypto, FTM, very, very volatile there, very, very volatile there. I lost about $150 to it, and that day I couldn't sleep. I couldn't even do anything. That was in 2021 September. Yeah, 2021 September, when I first started trading and all. And it was very, very crazy for me. Right. So then we go about learning strategies and trying to be better. Blow the money, go back to demo, start trading demo, start implementing strategies and all of that, until you feel okay, yeah, I know how to trade now. And then you come back to live, fund your account, you start making profits according to your strategy. But now, you see, the funniest thing about trading is it is emotional. Right? Everybody can relate. It is something that tests your emotion every now and then. Okay, when you are in drawdown, you are having that hope. Okay, price is going to come up. Price is going to come up. At least, even if you can get to my break even, I'll just close this trade. I mean, serious, drawdown, all of that. And then you get to break even. Instead of you to maybe close that trade, probably you were lucky, you start having that belief it should push higher, it should push higher, it should push higher, until you get stopped out. So the cycle continues, and then you realize, man, strategy is no longer my problem. I mean, you're talking to yourself, strategy is no longer my problem. But to find that consistent profitability in the market is now the issue. So how do you address that? That is what I'm going to focus more in this raw talk we are having right here. How do you get that consistent profitability, especially when strategy is no longer your problem? Okay, being a profitable trader doesn't mean because you know how to trade and then you know how to make money from the market, you can earn $100, $200, $1,000, or whatever it is that you are profitable. No, you see, Peter Tuchman said this thing in Words of Wisdom podcast. He said, it's not about how much you can make from the market, it's about how much you can keep. This is the biggest problem among people. Even me, I still face that issue till today. There is nobody that is above it, right? You make $1,000, or let me use small amount. You make $100 from the market today. Tomorrow, you are not supposed to lose at most $50. You are not supposed to lose more than $50, right? But most of the time, we often make $100 today, we lose $200 tomorrow. So you are taking one step forward, two steps backwards. So sometimes one step forward, three steps, four steps backwards. You make $100 today, you lose $300 tomorrow. What are you doing? And it's something that we have to work on ourselves over time. It's not something you can just learn, overnight. It's a gradual process. So that's where you now sit down to reality and say like, oh man, I think I need to quit this trading of a thing because trading is after my life. Trading is scam. I said I'll follow my rules. I said I'll not chase price and this and that. But at the end of the day, you are making money from the market, but at the same time, you are giving the market back the money. And don't get me wrong, losing is part of the game. You will definitely lose money to the market, but you need to understand that you need to make more, right? Make more than you lose. If a job is not paying you more than you are giving, putting that effort in, then it's not worth it, is it? It's not worth it, right? If your time and everything you're putting into this job is not enough, or it's not worth it for what you're getting back, then I see no reason why you're going to keep, doing that job. All right, so now let's go to something that everyone can relate. Drawdown. Let's focus on drawdown, because most of the time it is when you are in drawdown that you start realizing how tough trading is, and then you start beating yourself down and all of that. Even me, as at the moment of making this video, I'm in a drawdown, right? I'm in a drawdown. This week was a kind of bad trading week for me. I had losing streaks. So let's discuss about it. That's when you start looking at yourself. I have strategy. I have a strategy that works for me, but what is wrong? So I'm not going to be listing it in form of number one, number two at this. As you can see, I'm not following any script. I'm just talking from my head based on experience. So the first thing you need to understand in order for you to get that profitability after strategy is no longer your problem, right? You have a strategy that works, but you just want to get that profitability. The next thing, or the first thing, or whatever it is you need to do is identifying the problem, right? Identify your problem. What's my problem? Over trading. If that's your problem, okay, identify it. Over trading is my problem. If it's okay, I usually chase price, right? Okay, revenge trading. Identify your problem. Oh, I usually shoot too high on my risk to reward ratio on trades. Identify the problem. That's the very first thing. If you cannot identify a problem, you cannot come up with a solution. It's as simple as that. So when you identify your problem, okay, let's say your problem is probably you have a strategy that works, but you are always, having inconsistent risk per trade, which is a very, very common thing, especially for those of us that our strategy has high win rates. Someone like me, my strategy has high win rates, but sometimes I tend to have an inconsistent risk per trade. Okay, now that is a problem. I risk $50 today, I made $100. Tomorrow, because my strategy has a high win rate, I believe my setup should still be a win. So I end up risking 100, and now it's a loss. I've lost that 100 I made yesterday. But had it been I risked about 50, okay, I risked about 50, I would only lose 50 and still have 50, right? That is problem. That's a problem, an individual problem. Okay, yours might be something else or whatever it is. You are just discussing on one-on-one. You need to identify your problem. Is it over trading? Okay, now how do I stop it? Is it revenge trading? Okay, how do I stop it? You do that first. Now the next thing is, sometimes when you are in drawdown, okay, before going to that, you need to understand your strategy very, very, very well, which means you should have back tested it, forward tested it to the extent whereby you know how your strategy works. So you need to understand how many losing streak is it that your strategy can give you, right? Now I'm talking about traders that already have a strategy. Don't forget, I'm talking about traders that already have a strategy. So you need to know, okay, maybe your strategy has a maximum losing streak of 5, for example, right? That is your strategy's maximum losing streak, 5. You shouldn't be losing more than 5 trades back to back, right? And then probably your risk to reward ratio is 1 to 2, for example, 1 to 2. Because I'll say this, I don't recommend you trading 1 to 1. Yeah, you might say you are trading 1 to 1, but it doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't, because you can take 2 trades. You take 2 trades Monday, Tuesday, and then Wednesday, Thursday is a loss back to back, and then you're back to break even. No, you need to be taking 2 steps forward at the very least, and then 1 step backward. Doesn't mean you should take 10 steps forward, trading 1 to 10 risk to reward ratio, but still trade at least 1 to 2. So you don't have to be correct all the time. Trading 1 to 1 makes you want to be correct every single time. It stresses your mind whenever a loss comes. So like I was saying, you need to know the maximum length of the losing streak. So let's say your losing streak maximum length is 5, and you are now in a 3 times losing streak in a row. Monday loss, Tuesday loss, Wednesday loss. You're like, what's going on, man? Don't I know how to trade anymore? Is my strategy not working? Now the very big mistake most people do is they start to strategy hop, right? They jump from that strategy to another strategy, which they've not really been, they are not familiar with that strategy, but based on what they saw somewhere, it's like a holy grail. My strategy doesn't work again. I've taken like 3 losses in a row. Let me just jump to the next strategy. Whereas they know back in their mind that their strategy has a losing streak of 5. Why not just be patient and see, right? So they jump to another strategy, which all strategy work. I tell you that all strategy work, but in different ways. And then they keep losing. They go to trend line strategy, they lose. They come to supply and demand, they lose. ICT, they lose. Whatever it is, and then they just keep jumping around and dashing the market money, instead of them to stick to just one strategy and that strategy alone. So if that were the case, all you need to do is just keep trading that strategy until your losing streak is over. It might be 3, it might be that the 4th one is a win, and then you're back up. Understand? Just keep to that strategy. Now another thing is doubling down on your risk. Now a lot of traders will tell you, when you take 2 losses in a row, you need to double down on your risk. Yes, that's good. That's a good way. But I personally think it can keep you in a loop of drawdown. Now hear me out before you crucify me. Why do I say it can keep you in a loop of drawdown? Let's say your strategy is 1 to 2, right? You do trade 1 to 2 risk to reward ratios, and you lost 2 times. Right now you are down to 2R. Let's say you risked 1% on your trade, and now you are down 2%. Because you've taken 2 losses in a row, you now doubled down on your risk. So you should have known the maximum losing streak your strategy has previously before thinking about doubling down. Probably if you lose like 5, okay, you can now start thinking about doubling down your risk. But since it's 2, it's normal, it's within the range. Risk that same 1%, man up and risk it. Your model appears, you take that trade with that same 1%, and it's a win. If it's a win, you are back to R. Now you're back to break even. If you had doubled down on your risk. Now listen, you double down on your risk and you risk 0.5. Now that trade is a win, 2R. You should have been back to break even, but now you're up by 1%, still in total minus 1% in drawdown. Right? So now you're like, okay, I had a win. You're still trying to build your confidence. You still risk 0.5. Now you risk 0.5. Okay, you risk 0.5, and then it's also a win. Now you're back to break even, 1%, right? Now you're like, okay, my confidence is back. I'm going to risk 1%. And then you risk 1%. The third trade is a loss. Now you're back down again to 1%. Can you see the loop? So you just keep this. I'm talking about this thing from experience. It has happened to me, right? You just remain in that loop. But if you risk the same amount per trade, your 1%, you'll be back to break even in the first win. At the second win, you are up 2%. When the third trade comes and is a loss, you still have a plus 1%. So doubling down on your risk too early without proper understanding of your maximum losing streak length based on your strategy can keep you in a forever loop in drawdown, right? So make sure you take note of that. So do not strategy hop. That's things that most people often face, and then even though they know how to make money from the market, they don't make that consistent profit from the market, because remember, it's not how much you make, it's how much you keep. So do not double down on your position size anyhow, right? Or your risk per trade, not really position size, because your position size needs to be relative to your risk per trade, right? If you don't understand that, I have previous video where I explained how to adjust your position size relative to your risk. So you just have the same risk per trade, so that by the time your wins comes, it's able to cover for your losses. And then another thing is, when starting an account, right, especially for people like me with a high win rate, I often face that ego. The ego usually hits me like, okay, I have a high win rate, so definitely I can risk more. And then you risk more than what you are supposed to risk, and then it's a loss. That's a very, very bad starting. It's a very bad way to start. And then if care is not taken, you remain in that infinite loop of drawdown, because now you have to reduce your position size and all. So always start your account with a risk amount that you are comfortable with losing 5 times in a row, which wouldn't be detrimental to your psychology, right? You are starting a small account with maybe $1,000, for example. A personal account, you're starting with $1,000. Just risk 1%. Risk 1%, right? Risk 1%, which is $10. Just risk that. If you risk $10 per trade, it might seem small, but if you lose that $10 5 times in a row, that's $50. You still have $950 in your balance. It doesn't really affect you compared to you risking 10%. And then you lose 5 times in a row. Now your 1,000 is down to 500. You start doubling down on your risk and doing so many things, and then it's a struggle. It's like you're drowning. It's a struggle for you to build back that account over time. So there's so many things, so many things that can keep you unprofitable despite having the right strategy. Right? These are things that I just wanted to address as many as I can. So many things. You overtrade, you revenge trade. Yes, revenge trading makes me remember this. There's something Yarimi said on YouTube. I was scrolling through YouTube and he said something. He said, whenever you take a loss, right? Whenever you take a loss, you need to understand something. You haven't actually lost that money. Your money is just in the market, and you need to collect your money back without revenge trading. And that word really strikes deep. So if you lost $10 today, $20 tomorrow, or whatever it is you lost today, that money hasn't completely gone. So far, you still have your trading capital and you practice proper risk management. That money hasn't completely gone, right? You still can make that money. It's just in the market. All you need to do is come back another day, trade, and collect back your money, and even collect more in terms of profit from the market. So trading is a very, very wild game, right? We all come into it for money, but eventually it teaches you how to be an accountant, it teaches you how to be a mathematician, it teaches you how to be a psychologist, so many things, right? So many things in one. And it's this self-development. I'm going to leave you with these words. If I keep talking about this thing, we'll be here all day. But I'm going to leave you with this. You need to understand that in trading, every decision you make, you should be able to live by it. So if you wake up in the morning, you do not see a setup, or you force that setup hoping to make profits. If you take a loss that day, it is your fault and not the market's fault. The market doesn't care about what you do. It's just doing what it does, right? It is your fault for losing money today. If you made profits also today, it is also your fault, let me use that word, for making money. It is the actions you did, all right, that brought out the result you see. If you made money, if you did not make money, if you lost, if you overtraded, learn to take accountability, right? That is the only way you will grow. Take accountability for every action you make. Become responsible. I lost today. Why did I lose? Right? I didn't see a setup, but I decided to force it. Or I lost more than what I should have lost today. Why? I took a normal loss. I was so furious at myself that why did I lose? I decided to enter the market again. And then I got stopped out again the second time. See? So it's your fault. Once you start taking accountability and understanding that you are as a result of the choices you make, your trading journey will become much more easier and profitable. So remember, it's not how much you make from the market, it's how much you keep, right? Do not make a certain amount of money today only to give back the market all that amount tomorrow or even more. Ensure you are taking at least 2 steps forward and 1 step backward. If you can practice all this, you're going to be a profitable trader at the end of the week, the month, the year, and as long as it is you want to trade. And I'll see you guys in the next very video. Cheers.